What's up, guys? I'm the Wrestlegamer. Welcome back to Let's Play Time Tenshi 2 Special Edition right here on the arcade. Now, if you guys want to notice, from the transition from the last episode to this episode, I lost about two to three lines of dialogue. And the original ending of the last episode ended with Kenji hearing a voice at his door. As you guys can see, it's Tessa. I've tried backing up, and I don't feel like going through the whole thing all over again. So that's why we're just going to start from this point, because there's just 2 to 3 lines of dialogue. So you really didn't miss much. So, mind if I sit down? I've been hitting the cat explosions a lot more than I should have been with all this stupidity. I nodded and waved Tessa over to a chair. Okay, first, the good news. I went over the lab's computers, communication logs, and all that stuff. And there's absolutely no sign that Michelle's been talking with the other side. As far as I can tell, she didn't tip off anybody. Really? Well, that's great. So what's the bad news? The bad news is that we still have no idea how the gruesome twosome managed to see us coming. We don't know how to prevent it from happening again. On top of that, the drama between Tensai and Michelle has skyrocketed to an all-new levels. Rose was able to convince him to let her work the equipment again, but I think he'd rather just blow up the time window, Michelle and all, and then keep looking at her. That is bad news. Things are hard enough without us fighting each other. Yeah, I know. And now get ready for the worst news. How could the news get worse? Easy. I tried copying the programming from Bunny's quantum guards to the ones we've made, but it was a no-go. It was all encrypted to prevent copying. Now, the encryption isn't as bad as the stuff in the files from the future, but bad enough that it'd take me a lot of time to decrypt it all. And ironically enough, time is something we don't have a lot of right now. You mean we still won't be able to use the assault modes? Bingo, and believe me, I'm aware of just how badly that sucks. Unfortunately, we don't exactly have time to mess around trying to get our guards working. Not if we're going to be able to rain on the bad guys' parade. Then this is it, huh? Yep, this is it. The big day. Listen, Ken, you got any plans for, later? I really haven't had the time to plan for anything later. Why? Well, it's just, with so much on the line, I've been doing some thinking. Really? About what? I never had much in the way of a social life, thanks to dear old Maudie treating me like a living doll and me trying to get over it. I've never had any real friends. Never went on dates or any of that stuff. I figure most regular people do. Well, the bottom line is, until I met Tensai, I didn't even have anybody I really felt I could, talk to about stuff. And now, Tessa shifted about on my bed and her shirt slipped off one shoulder, revealing more of her body. What are we about to see here? I was considering whether to point this out to Tessa when Tessa looked at me nervously and continued. So I was wondering, do you think maybe we might, I don't know, grab something to eat when this is over? Let's accept her offer. Tessa's sudden advances surprised me a little, but to be honest, I did find her at least somewhat cute. We better not say that to her, that's her trigger word. So despite how awkward it seemed at the time, I decided to give her a little rope. Well, I mean, this is quite sudden, but, I wouldn't mind going. Huh? I frowned as I made my way over to the source of the sound, my door, and opened it. I was immediately met with the sight of Rose and Kyo losing their balances and falling towards me. Before I could even think of moving, both Rose and Kyo crashed into me. Did they faint from that? I fell hard to the floor with the two of them on top of me and both of their busty bodies pressed against my face. What the? Hey, you jerks, were spying on us, weren't you? Of course not. We wouldn't do anything like that. Oh yeah? Then how come you fell down on Ken when he opened the door if you didn't have your ears pressed against it? I'll tell you why. We were. Yo, tell her what we were doing. Oh, we were listening to you cut in line on Kenji. If my field of vision hadn't been crammed with the cleavage, I'm sure I would have been able to see Rosa smacking herself in the face. A couple of bimbo brains blowing an innocent conversation out of proportion while smothering a guy with their knockers. And aw, crap.
Girls, I'd ask where Kenji is, but I have a strong suspicion I already know the answer to that. So would you kindly get off of him?
Oh, I'm sure. I don't suppose you'd believe me if I said that this wasn't what it looked like, would you?
No, Kyo. No, I would not. And more to the point, we don't have time to waste. I've just finished the final bits of programming on the time window. Everything's ready for us to try to make it to the future. So I recommend that you get into your time suits and then report to the time window room.
Okay. Got it, Tensai. I'm sure. Bye, Kenji. Bye, Kyo.
I won't ask what was going on there, Kenji. For now, just get your shield and follow me.
I replied with a slightly embarrassed nod and returned to my room. I picked up the shield that I had never even used and set it onto my arm before heading back after Grandpa to the time window room. I still think this is a mistake, old man. Hi, Michelle, I guess you heard about the plan? Rose told me about it. And Gramps, I still can't believe that you'd sink low enough to use Bunny to destroy our one and only chance of saving the future. I always knew you were a coward and an idiot, but this...
Michelle, enough. I'm done discussing this insanity with you. We have to move now. We've detected anomalies in the time stream, large energy distortions rippling in our time. As far as we can tell, they appear to be the beginnings of the formation of the quantum causality loop mentioned in the files.
So wait, what? You mean...
We're not precisely sure what it means. Our best guess is that someone in the future is, or will be conducting tests of the third time window mentioned in the theory. However, it does mean that we've run out of time. We have to move quickly if we're to put a stop to this.
Which I keep saying is a mistake. Oh man, their plan will work. All we have to do is...
One more word, Michelle, and I'll disconnect you from the equipment again. Oh, good timing, girls.
Rose, Kyo, and Tessa arrived in their time suits and ready for action. Grandpa filled them in on the readings and he and Michelle had picked up before pointing to a table nearby. There were 4 brand new quantum guards on it, different from the ones worn by Bunny and Mizuki. They were simpler and colored the same silver as Rose's armor.
Here are your quantum guards. They might not have functional assault modes if I learn how to read, but they will provide better insulation during the time travel. And more importantly, they'll help you to anchor you in the future once you get there. Make sure that they won't be a repeat of what she did.
I am all for that. Tessa grabbed one of the quantum guards immediately and slid it onto her arm. Rose and Kyo were quick to do the same, and I was the last to wear one of the strange devices. As I stood among the girls that I felt proud to call my friends and maybe even more, I knew that no matter what happened next, this would be the final battle. Grandpa stood near the time window, his expression hard and determined, and maybe even a little angry as we prepared for what was to come.
Alright then, I know that we haven't had much time to prepare as we would have liked, but we don't have any time to waste, not with everything that's on the line.
We understand, and we're ready. You bet we are. I, for one, have been looking forward to getting some serious payback on Pain in the Tut. Grandpa managed a tiny smile and nodded.
In theory, your weapon should now be able to disrupt the fields generated by the enemy's quantum guards.
Tensai, I know that we might have to fight them, but, well, we still don't know exactly how using a quantum guard affects the brain.
This is an entirely new technology, and we've barely had a chance to study it.
Exactly, and after what happened to Bunny, if we disrupt them with our weapons, it might be fatal.
I am painfully aware of that fact, Rose and Kyo, but we no longer have any choice in the matter. Now then, Tessa, I've loaded your backpack with more electromagnetic bombs. Enough to destroy the time window, the computers in the future, and even the third time window they're supposed to be building. I'm trusting you to wipe it all out. Make sure that there's not even the slightest chance of them ever rebuilding any of it.
Tessa accepted the backpack with an eager grin. You got it, Tensai. I'll get the job done.
Be sure that you do. This crisis has taxed our resources considerably. I had to use up a fair amount of electronic components to make those bombs. Those are all that we have left. Rose?
Yes?
I prepared some acid you can use to destroy the shield around the time window in the future, assuming it's still there, as well as other equipment that should help with any other security measures they may have. Given our previous intrusion, I don't doubt that they'll be more cautious.
Grandpa handed Rose a bag before continuing.
Now Kyo, Tessa, please bring in Bunny.
And about a minute passed as we waited for Kyo and Tessa to return. When they did, they wheeled in the gurney carrying Bunny's unconscious body. Tensai, are we really sure about this? I mean, destroying their time window?
I know you and others have doubts about this, Kyo, but this is the only way left. This nightmare has to end, and unfortunately, this is the only way it can.
He's right. Look, old man, I know your head is stuck in stone, but the rest of you, you have to see that this is wrong. We can't destroy the future time window.
We can, and we most certainly will.
And throw our best chance of saving the future in the process? Kenji, please. You've changed the past yourself. You didn't give in to fear. Doesn't it tell you something? My family. Even with the shift in the timeline, I can still remember the fire. I could still see the flames consuming my home, stealing away my mother and father. The heat of the blaze, the noxious fumes and smoke. The screams. I shook myself free of those images, the past that no longer was. As I did so, I realized that Michelle was right about one thing, but also very wrong about something else. You're right, Michelle. I was able to make a choice that changed the future.
Kenji.
But it's not the same situation. What I did and what Bunny and Mizuki are planning, those are two very different things. And Neferuri, she's someone we can't trust. Yeah, I figured that much out when she tried to kill us. Yeah, and what if all she wanted was to save the future? Then what could she have done, possibly lost by allowing us to stay? If anything, us all teaming up would have made saving the future a lot easier, but yet she fought us off and sent us back to the past. So why? There could be any number of reasons for that, Kenji. Most of which don't mean most of which doesn't mean she has some hidden agenda. She might just want all of the credit for saving the future. She could be arrogant. She might be suffering from side effects caused by time travel.
Any one of which makes me concerned about having the future be completely dependent on her to save it. Kenji's right. There's just too much that we don't know, and it's all too risky. We have to end this now. Precisely. Now, Michelle, raise the shield. The instant we send Bunny back to the future, we'll need to wedge open the wormhole left in her wake with the time window. That will take...
No. You might be willing to cave into fear, but I'm not. And even if I can't do anything to stop you, then you can bet your butts I won't help you destroy the last best hope the future has. Michelle folded her arms under her ample chest and turned on her heel away from us.
It's just as well. We don't need you making things worse than you already have. Alright, Tessa, I'll need your help with the time window. For now, you and Kenji, Get Bunny onto the platform. I'll raise the shield.
You got it, Tensai. Grandpa elevated the plexiglass shield as it slid up out of view. Tess and I worked to lift Bunny up off the gurney. Moving carefully, we carried the tall girl over to the time window and put her on the platform. Michelle scowled at me, and I was quick to move away from the time window as Tessa went back to join Tensai.
Very good, Rose. When I give you the word, hit Bunny with your sword. We'll need to time this perfectly if we're to create a steeple portal to the future. I understand. Coming to stand over Bunny's prone form, the English girl held her blade at the ready. Whenever you're ready. Grandpa went to work with his fingers flying over the controls as Tessa moved to assist him. As I stood by watching and waiting, I could hear the equipment humming in readiness. All right, not quite. Almost. Get ready. Now.
Immediately, Rose brought her sword down on Bunny in a gentle swing. An instant later, the future woman's clothes fell apart, leaving her completely exposed to the world. At least we know that the power boosts of our guards work, and one of these days, you're gonna have to tell me why the clothes go first.
Stay focused, Tessa. It'll happen any second. There it is.
Bunny's form dissolved into dust, and sure enough, a flicker of light appeared at the center of the time window. With considerable cajoling and effort, my grandfather and Tessa managed to convert it into a full-fledged portal.
Everyone, you need to go now. I don't know how long I can hold this open. Got it. Everyone, let's go.
Rose immediately entered the time window with Tessa following a short distance behind. She hesitated a brief moment, studying Michelle's angry form before joining the other girls. I gave the place one last look before entering as well. I see, so that's the path they've chosen. How inconvenient, and yet the little one still has a crucial choice to make. One that would greatly mitigate the potential risk, and... Feeling her heart speeding up, Neferuri brought her hand up to her chest. A feeling of euphoria swept through her as she rose to her feet and stepped away from her bed. Ah, so it has begun. Ooh, the power. I will transform this world into a paradise. For eternity. What does that mean? As I found myself in the strange vortex of color that was the passage through the time window, I couldn't help but feel nervous. No matter how things went, this would be the final battle. One way or another, this would be the end of it. I do apologize for the noise in the background. At the end of this journey, what would come next? How would we... welcome to the Boob Job Express. Karen, you are so lucky that this place doesn't do perverted stuff to your bod. I know what you mean. Still, let's stay focused. There's a good chance that Mizuki or Neferuri will be waiting for us, so... Eek. Oh, great. There they grow again. Trying very hard to not act like the part of a pervert, I still couldn't help but watch my friends' bodies as the forces outside our three-dimensional plane did their work. The girl's shapely orbs swelled vigorously, graduating to one cup size, only to abandon it for another moments later. Rose's cheeks flushed with humiliation as her swelled impossibly in size, as she made a point of averting her gaze from her bulging breasts. Tessa, meanwhile, grumbled under her breath with her arms folded. She paused only to glare down at the harp-shaped window to her cleavage as if she was trying to scold out of growing anymore. But I also realized that there was none of Kyo's usual glee over the girl's mind-boggling huge assets. None of the showing off or twirling her figure, no groping of the other girls, no teasing nor stroking. No. I can't do it. Huh? Kyo suddenly reached around and grabbed Tessa's backpack. Hey, what do you think you are? Before Tessa or anyone else could do anything, Kyo forced the backpack open. In a flurry of movements, she emptied out the electromagnetic bombs and sent them flying back down the surreal passageway we come through. Kyo, no! But it was already too late. All of the bombs had floated back the way we had come, disappearing from sight, and I knew that they were lost to us. Snarling wrathfully, Tessa whirled around and grabbed Kyo by the wrist. You idiot! You incompetent, useless, boob-obsessed waste of space! What the flying crap were you thinking? I was thinking of the future, of all the destruction there. Look, I know how you're all mad at Bunny and Mizuki, but Michelle was right, and their plan is the only way of fixing things. Then, seeing as their brilliant scheme all depends on the royal pain, then I'd say we're better off without it, and I realized I had to step in quickly before things spiraled completely out of control. So, what I'm going to do here, guys and gals, is I'm going to leave this episode on a choice. Should we try to calm Tessa and stand up for Kyo, or do we just break up the argument quickly? To find out which one I'm going to take, you're going to have to tune into the next episode right here on WGS-TV. You guys like this video, be sure you slam that like button like a champ. And if you guys want to see more of Time Tenshi 2 Special Edition right here on the arcade, well, you know the two ways you got to do it. You got to hit that subscribe button and click that bell icon to turn on notifications, so that way you never miss out on another episode here on my channel. So with that being said, I am your friendly neighborhood WrestleGamer, and I will see you next time right here on WGS-TV. Bye, guys!